ladies and gentlemen, I know you've been waiting for this as much as I have, perhaps even more. But I don't want to go there with that. We're going to start this evening, and if no one wants to read the check-in list, I'll read the check-in list, just checking. Okay. That means I got to put my glasses.
Hello!
Hello. All right, so this is the intro check. This gives advisements to those people who need advisements, or even if they don't need advisements.
You want me to do it? You want me to help you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just read it kind of straight.
Read it straight, and then and I'll ask you to properly ask you.
Yeah, you go. All right, so he's on. He's gonna, let me just frame you there.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sacred Grounds. This is the intro checklist. Number 1, hear ye, welcome to Sacred Grounds. With Dan Brady as the current host of this, the longest running open mic in the known and unknown universe. Serving up good food and fine poetry since 1972. Please support the reading by enjoying the good food and good drink served here, and give Teddy a hand.
Get it back there.
We're all clapping. That's not a soundtrack. Poetry of all kinds, ladies and gents, is welcome. But we ask you to respect the mic. Please respect the mic. Keep conversations to a whisper. Put phones on mute or vibrate. And do not distract the speaker or pass in front of them. Please do not do that.
Yes.
That's a big no-no. And I know 2 Chechens with baseball bats to take care of this. We like to get everyone on the mic, so that means Sacred Grounds' longest standing tradition. The open mic time is, well, we call it 4 minutes, but Mr. Brady calls it 3.5. Am I right or not?
Well, 4-ish.
3.5-ish.
4, don't, you know.
This is because we have 2 shows. The 7-ish and the 8-ish. Going long will cut off someone else's time. So let's give it a 3.5 to 4 minutes, everyone. Unless you're a feature. If you want to be in the loop, we have an email list. So see one of the hosts, Mr. Brady there, a Facebook page, and we stream live. Hi, people. And thanks to Mr. Natural, see the URL, the wall over there. Hi. You can do in from home. Family and friends can see you live or later on. If you want to hear so-and-so, that we do know who so-and-so is, poem again, why you can. Want to do all a self-critique? If you really want to. And it's in this way to put out the word, so to speak, yours, mine, or ours, on podcast. Ongoing theme. Aha, an ongoing theme. Lovely Margaret Mead. I didn't meet her, but she was in my psychology class, my sociology class. So never doubt that a small group of committed citizens, and I don't mean committed 5150, can change the world. Indeed, it's the only things that ever has, in fact. Woo! Committed citizens. So let's get out there and resist. After the pizza and beer. The evening's theme is
Lost and Found.
Lost and Found.
That was from Rick, right?
Evenings. That's this evening, meaning if you wanted to come up with something brand new, that's Lost and Found. And depending on what you might, the meaning of Lost and Found, it could be all kinds of things. Also, next week's feature will be.
Let me find that out. Next
and
week.
Mr. Brady's finding that out.
Oh, Greg Pond, the Amazing.
Greg Pond, the Amazing. And then we have a keynote, sir.
Keynote is Guy.
A keynote is Guy, right over there. And a feature.
Feature is me.
Dan Brady.
It happened. I couldn't help myself.
Quote unquote, Dan couldn't help himself. Brady.
Thank
Okay.
you. I like that.
who will give the Queen's wave. And you know how it's like this. It's not. It goes like this. It's a windshield wiper. Okay. And so there's a second show.
Yes.
And the last word will be
Tony Lorendo!
The pastor with a Santa Craster, the most with the Church of Poetry. All right. Be advised, although we record the evening, if an audience member wishes to do so, please ask permission. We all assume you've done so. We conclude by 9:50. No earlier and no later. This is Tony's stuff and his deadline. So let's respect it when we take off to the streets. So it's 9:50 tonight. Anything else?
Oh, the mini feature is
Go
Tommy
ahead.
Abacola Mecca. He's not here yet, but he said he would be.
Are we done yet?
Yeah.
Can we start?
Oh, I'm just going to show a couple of
Go ahead.
prizes here. Woo! A Weighty Tome,
Who's first?
Moby Dick by Henry Melville. And if that's not enough, you have Sir Walter Scott's Rob Roy. And then if that's not enough, Charlotte Bronte, Jane Eyre. Now, you might say to yourself, Dan, where do you get these books? All of these books were on top of a mailbox on the street, sitting there, along with like several others of a like. I was like, they're in great shape. That's perfect. Anyways, that's amazing.
And the first person will be
Oh, that would be the keynote, which is Guy. And,
first person, Guy, the feature.
Yeah.
Mr. Guy.
Give him up. Give him a nice round.
Give it up for Guy.
Give it up once again. Jesus Christ and hamburger.
Thank you. I'm going to share 3 poems, and I get my poems, tonight's poems from Writer's Almanac.
All right.
And just if you're not familiar with it, you can get it via email every day, and start off with a poem a day, and lots of interesting information. So this first poem is called BLT by Barbara Crooker, and I was going to dedicate this one to Teddy back there.
Yeah.
Enjoy every sandwich. Warren Zevon, talking with David Letterman about his terminal lung cancer shortly before his death. Here's how to make a great sandwich. Country white bread, lightly toasted, contoured with mayonnaise, leaf lettuce spilling over the borders, overlays of tomatoes, train tracks of bacon leading straight out of town. No need for road maps, potato chips, or pickles. Yes, winter is waiting, just over the horizon. But right now, I'm going to sit in the sun and listen to birdsong. I'm going to eat every crumb, every plottable coordinate now, while I can. This next one's called How to Sacrifice by Mick Cochran, and this one's for Robert Rubino and Buford. How to sacrifice. Pivot in the box. Square up. Surrender to the pitcher. Slide your top hand up the barrel. Don't squeeze. Keep your hands soft. Bend your knees. You need to keep your balance. Let the ball come to you. Be patient. Don't stab at it. Point your bat. Absorb the shock. And hope the ball stays fair. Afterwards, expect no high fives, no headlines, no contract extension. No one bunts himself onto the all-star team. You do it because that runner on first, he needs to come home. He's your teammate, he's your brother, he's your son. And you're the guy who still knows how to lay one down.
Yeah.
This last one is for our Dan, and it's Charles Bukowski.
Yes.
Defining the magic. A good poem is like a cold beer when you need it. A good poem is a hot turkey sandwich when you're hungry. A good poem is a gun when the mob corners you. A good poem is something that allows you to walk through the streets of death. A good poem can make death melt like hot butter. A good poem can frame agony and hang it on a wall. A good poem can let your feet touch China. A good poem can make a broken mind fly. A good poem can let you shake hands with Mozart. A good poem can let you shoot craps with the devil and win. A good poem can do almost anything, and most important, a good poem knows when to stop.
Hand me the affirmation sheet, so when you read a poem by somebody else, you want to read it? Mark up the...
Rick Peters up at the mic.
All right. Britt Peter, give him a round, please. The first open mic there of the evening.
The game, lost and found, lost. Oh, let's start with the nation. Or rule of law, a current phrase that sticks in my craw. The citizen's blood begins to boil over recent events. Will someone please say fascist? Poor Roger. I'm the chief enforcement officer, or that other guy. Let me buy an election, or throw some more kids against the wall. And whatever you do, don't mention the fact that 100,000 came out to hear that old man last weekend. Found, an old lonely song for a sunrise over the eastern hills, or the glory of purple Tamalpais floating above morning fog in the west. Those who lived here so long didn't have to put up with this kind of current shit. Black History Month, the shortest month of the year, unfortunately. 3:30 a.m., today and then, cold winter night, a glaring moon, the tumbling dipper, and under another moon, Valjean stole a loaf of bread. Mose, a slave listed in Pioneers and Cavaliers, crosses a field, moving north. Three poems from about 60 years ago. Glimpses of making. Late afternoon, Buchanan Street. 4 or 5 of us in the front room. Paul quiet, sketching by the window. I think he liked that time of day. The rest of us talking, engaged, specific utterances, fresh thought, cans of beer. Toward evening now, without lights, and the glare from the window less. Paul, not a word out of him, sketching, patient cross-hatching, calm form. Robert Duncan, the flurry, lavish fountains moisten the open field, diamonds spray into the mythic night. The childhood games, the mystery, the falconer. The wall-eyed poet, having caught your attention, leaves a lit candle in an upstairs room. And Jack Spicer, after hours, walking through the city, almost sober, another Spicer poem. Guinevere and J. Edgar Hoover, salt epiphanies and open wounds. Jack works on his poem, Near Daylight Now.
Carl. And he'll be back in the open. Oh yeah, he'll be back in the Guy will be back in the open end. Guy is also the timekeeper of the evening, so he'll be advising people. Yeah. And then Ron.
You're the man.
Oh, hold on a second. You want me to help you with it?
I think I got it. Just make sure you talk straight into it and you're stamped. Yeah, you're good. Eric, gotcha. That's okay. There you go. I'll manage. So if you've seen me in the last few weeks here on Wednesday nights, you know I've been stuck on Floyd Thursby. And he's lost and found. I don't know if you know much about him, but I added a couple more. I guess they're episodes because chapter's too long a word. So here we go, chapter 10, or episode 10, down, down, down. Down, down, down he dove, looking, listening, smelling, tasting, feeling for that muff. He relied on his sixth sense now. He let love lead the way. There was a hunger in his heart, but the muffalata on a sourdough round he had shared the night before was enough for his belly. But was it an oxymoron? Floyd remembered that night outside Napoleon House in the quarter on Sharp Street near the river. You could smell the Father of Waters. The windows all shuttered up, the gray walls silent. He put his left hand on the black rock cast iron, glanced over his shoulder at the Supreme Court, went inside and looked at the menu. Ham, Genoa salami, pastrami, Swiss cheese, provolone, mortadella? You gotta bring your own if you want it here. Sneak it on there, I guess, or take it out and put it on later. No, this ain't the Central Market. The homemade Italian olive salad, the seeded Sicilian muffalata. It sounded good. Oh, taste and see. For the lady, Floyd Thursby said, a hot one to go. Thank you very much. I'll do this half of page to just add on to that. It's not much, but this is time travel in the Tenderloin. Dundee said, but Sam, you gotta help us. If that wasn't Thursby in the dumpster, then who was it? Maybe it was Floyd's twin Lloyd, said Sam. Well, that would explain a lot. Maybe that's why they came to San Francisco, to meet up. And maybe the girl is just baggage, or not. Can we pull this up?
No, yeah, well, he's gonna change it up. So Rob and then, Owen, right? Yeah. Oh, this is the other Rob.
Yeah.
Okay, this is his first time here, ladies and gentlemen.
I think my new name has to be Rob without the W.
Yeah, Rob without the
Yeah,
W.
that's it.
I was confused.
Exactly. I'll write that out every time.
Thank you.
This is called Orange Cone in the Sky. I've had my whole life planned out dozens of times. Feather on a scale, tip the chalice. The Merlot level is rising. That wasn't high, it was help. We're drowning. Couches kill revolutions. Let's meet in the middle between X and we have to act now. 10 years ago. I'd bet a child's future on it, is what we all say. With every step, every stop and go, gapers block, lock jaw, there is nothing we cannot draw blood, conclusions, it is exactly what we trace. The ocean has a frequency that planes talk over until they disappear and your brain takes over. Thank you.
Woo!
Yeah! Appreciate it. Yeah, wow. What amazing company. Thank you all.
Yeah.
This next one didn't have a title, so now I guess it's going to be called Lost and Found. Or maybe just Lost and. Kindergartens and county jails, lifelines. Kindergartens to county jails, pipelines. Pinch me, I'm nightmaring. Thoughts blaring. Cold conversation with her corpse. Only took me 5, maybe 6 minutes to collapse back asleep. Back in that backyard. Giant raccoons croon under the sun, under the oaks, under the cloak of suspended disbelief. I don't speak, I bark. The smell of cerulean. The cloud dissipates. Impermanence. be patient. People say it's a virtue. People say virtue is its own reward. People say the transitive property is a thing, and people say property is death, so everything must go. Everything must go on Instagram. The crystal necklace man just told me to start a blog. People can click on ads and I'll get paid. Bob, you brilliant lunatic. I will not write for money, I'll write the money. I will never write for money, I'll write the money. Rob, you liar, I thought you wanted to make it. The breath, the wealth, it's all minted. It's all tinted windows. The carrot in the mirror is larger than it appears. Push it down, push harder. It's not working? Okay, rip it from the roots and ship it to England. Call it a famine, call it great, call it a Friday, call it good, call it sacrificial, superficial, unofficial, anything. Just keep calling. Thank you.
Woo! Yeah! Owen and then Bill. Owen and then Bill. Give him a round of applause. Mr. Owen Duncan.
Hey. So this is my latest poem. First, after Kurt Vonnegut. First of all, there is a train of thought. During the rain, we so avoid the men and women come. When, why, or how we are so in awe of a vast uncertainty. Lo and behold, there is a dish of pudding and cake we wish for, and are all driven to praise, yes, praise for the folly and fun that is our hope and our desire. We wish and want and are all aglow and agog with wear and care for small things. Real, after Herman Melville. Real men at sea, pinion to a deck for a fortnight, do what they can to forego all pleasures, all pains, cargo and waste of men and brethren, cast off to sand and frolic among the natives and islands of Mammon. Creative and sure of frolic and fun, hopping from island to island, oft in the days of free verse, not the rowers of rhyme and reason. There is the season of certainty that is. Harper's bizarre interlude sustaining wealth, society intervening, plotting, stealth, and circumstances intervening in a mire of rotundas and castles, spires and cathedrals sustaining their interest. Where, why, and where some more can I go to please the toil and trough? Enough. Seize the day. Carpe diem in the woods and streams of free verse, broken from the dams of rhyme and quatrains of spirit. Poems in the spirit of the Clarihu, Robert of rhymesters and versifiers, well known. Question, after F. Scott Fitzgerald. Into the deep blue sea he dragged an O to be more than he should, more than I or me could score again and again in the birth of a nation of girth and width. Give me more than I and thou could have. The sky is blue and is now gray, going back and forth to and fro. Sick and well, weak and strong, life goes on and we hope for the best. Stay away from the worst it can give. She, after D.H. Lawrence. She came with the wind, half her mind made up. Staff of life, life goes on, full of bliss and confidence. Pull away into the moors of depth and jubilation. Poor though I may be, there can be something to me. Pan for love in the street. We have broken free of a sad state of affairs. More and more we used to cry madly, badly, badly. I do what I can to make to hope. Bursting through the fiber of onslaught, the first shove of winter came about like a digging, a shout from the trellises that scattered about the hat of the winded ponies on an island always. Gone, gone are my ways of carefree gadding about in the fog and sunlight, riding like a half-wit in search of heaven and earth, getting off to chat. One more, okay. Dear, park along the tail of night, illumined pale, moonlight ignored as a Valhalla desired. Allah, Allah, St. Aunt Janie at a Christmas party. I bat and tail one of 3 kids, got myself a bid for the prom, got $5 from relatives, put on and hoof all about town. More than enough in those carefree days. School and church held their own against rock and roll. Just to dance. Thank you very much.
Woo! Bill, and then Amelia.
Traffic jam.
Traffic jam? I like that. Better than toe jam.
It is. It's a half step up from toe jam.
Doesn't smell as bad though. Thank God. I'm sorry.
So I'm going to do a couple of poems about words. I mean, this is what we traffic in here, so. Words. Words wind up the world like a grandfather clock. They shackle us to rank and tick-tock us to duty. Priests pulpit prayers to the parish. Politicians propound propaganda do the body politic. Poets peacock their poems to posterity. Professors expound on their polemics. Peddlers push their products. Promoters peddle their programs. False prophets preach to the people. But when that great clock of the world unwinds, time is bent into a circle by the gravity of a peach and the scent of honeysuckle, then floats upward on the updraft of music while the clock hands clap to the rhythms of joy. Our Cinderella bodies become palaces of pleasure, and our unwound words, divorced from the rigid march of rectilinear time, are translated into evanescent jewels, like the myriad drops of diamond and emerald dew glittering in the magic morning light. Our house is built of words. The foundation is solid granite, hewn from the indigenous stone of the first natal cry. That primal scream that proclaims, I am, me, here, now. The floor is planked with the clear hardwood words milled from the straight trunk of our green sap stretch up toward the heavens. The walls are made with the rough and tumble words that are quarried from our work and worry and sweat by the tools of our hands, brush and pen, scalpel, keyboard, hammer, plow. The ceiling is made with the lath and plaster words of our duties and responsibilities, commitments made, promises kept. The roof is tiled with the waterproofed words of wisdom, gathered tile by tile along the winding paths of our wandering, or washed up by the omniscient waters, gifted by the sea. Our house is lit by the words of love and kindness and hope that pour in through the open windows,
and is peopled by the joys and sorrows that enter through our unlocked doors. And like the sharpened shovel in the backyard shed, our grave digger words wait patiently to join that great wheel of requiem that slowly revolves on the axle of time.
All right, and
Amelia, she's new.
Amelia is brand new, ladies and gentlemen. A talent, according to her cousin, a great talent, a forthcoming force in this world.
Don't hype me up like that. That makes
Okay.
me nervous. Okay, yeah, I'm Amelia.
Just get really close to the mic.
Okay, I'm Amelia. I'm from Colorado, so this will be my only time here, probably. So, okay, yeah. So
That's what you think. You never know.
Okay, so this is a poem I wrote called "An Ode to the Friend Zone." You wide-eyed boy with dilated pupils and a sad voice that flows off your tongue in a manner of slow sound waves, slower than the speed of light and more like the tide. You fearful boy with thick black hair that pops back into place with movements such as fingers ran through it where sometimes I wish I could touch. You untouchable boy with 1,025 miles distance and a smile like the breeze that fades in seconds while making stupid jokes to avoid truth and stupid hearts in you. You said you wanted to see my eyes, for I was hiding behind a screen you couldn't reach. No, I was hiding from feeling and hiding from breaking down, and now that you're creating space, the distance in miles is turning into days and I can't breathe. When days become revolved around the fact that the night would hold laughter in its clutches like the stars of the moonlight, the days became easier, and now that the nights hold tears, the life seems harder and worthless and dark. You tall boy, the one with the pretty smile that I crave like music and art. In my eyes, you are music and art, and I haven't written about you in 365 days. 365 days, and now every day, lost and found love that pops like a whack-a-mole in a machine, moving too fast to actually connect with the mole at a time is never right, and the process is never right, and I am never right for you. You soft boy with compassion deeper than any ocean, who hung up on the phone with intention to make his brother listen to the song he learned on guitar for him. What he doesn't know is that I learned that same song for him, and it is his song in my head. What makes me think of love and his fingertips and how sometimes I've missed being 14. You impossible boy with pink lips I've never kissed and I will never see again. You impossible boy I keep falling for like bridges and small children when they trip. You impossible boy who has withstood 1,000 storms in my heart and who I wish I could let go of. Who I wish I had let go of the first time the wind blew. This is an ode to the friend zone that sometimes I wish could just be called friends or love. This is an ode to 7-hour phone calls and the turtle painted on my wall. This is an ode to phone calls dotted with tears and jealousy. This is an ode to the fact that sometimes I think you're the only one who cares about me. This is an ode to star shopping and impression and obsession, things being better with you. This is an ode to you. Please forgive me, tall boy, for letting feelings overcome destiny and impatience overcome fate. Please forgive me, tall boy, and please don't let a day of space turn into Jupiter in the sun. Please forgive me, tall boy. Please don't leave me.
Love it. And that guy's coming back. Rick, after Guy, okay, and he's coming. He was the keynote, and so the keynote always comes back to do their own thing. He's going to do his own
How
thing.
long have you been running this?
1,753,000 million years.
Yeah.
Give or take a day.
You don't show it.
I know.
Call the keynote. Okay. Call the keynote.
Keynote?
Yeah.
That was really beautiful.
Yeah.
Lost and Found. This one is from my book Soundings and Fathoms, and it's called Saturday Morning. The cats don't know it's Saturday. Pontiac hops on the bed and meows to be fed, standing in the empty place where Pearl used to sleep. I open one eye and get a fix on the clock. 5:23. Way too early for a weekend. I hold out a hand, try to mollify with a stroke of his silky head. Pontiac keeps his distance. Jade Blue, the Siamese, is having her way with the carpet. I roll over, close my ears. That's when Pontiac goes to level 2, starts licking my lobe. After 4 scratch pad licks, I'm back on my back and Big Dude goes heavy, stepping onto my chest with all fours, taking away any chance I have to breathe. He knows it, I know it. It's time. Truth is, Pontiac belonged to Pearl. She'd rescued him from an ex who'd been ignoring the enormous, needy Tabby. Now I was part of the X line. Somehow Pontiac stayed behind, I get it. Pearl's a gypsy who lives on cinnamon coffee and cigarettes, loves pomegranates and cats in need, looks younger and more waifish by the day, with a turquoise voice that holds every cafe captive when she takes her turn at the mic. I speak from experience. I stagger to the kitchen and speak to Pontiac, who purrs against my legs. Jade Blue waits by the window, content to let big fella work. I open a fresh can of Fancy Feast. Pontiac meows, rises on his back legs. Jade Blue joins the party. I know, I miss her too. I set the open can on the counter and take a small pleasure in making them wait just a little while longer. And I put the coffee on.
Hard to go wrong with that. And Rick, give him a nice round as he comes up and there's the name.
Only the second time.
Huh?
Only the second time, correct?
Yes.
He was here last time, and this is his second time.
All right.
Oh, make sure he gets framed. There you go.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me back. Closure. Off of 880 around the Alameda, there's a Shell station. You can tell from miles away that it's there because the sun's like really, really high in the sky. To anybody else, it would probably be just a regular sign for a gas station, but for me, it's one of my greatest triggers of the most traumatic PTSD event I've ever had. And that was the day that somebody almost took my life. You never know rage until you see it in somebody else's eyes. Those 6 words, I'm going to kill you, burns, scars. Nothing can get you through it. All the things remind you of that one person, that one moment, a song, a scent, a photo. So here I am across the street from this gas station. And as I'm driving away, I see it in the rearview mirror, praying for some miracle for me to get over this. I need some kind of sign that I'm going to be okay. Well, after everything that happened, I was just there at that gas station, curled up into a little ball. I called the first person I could think of, my dad. I never knew pain until I saw it in somebody else's eyes, and I saw pain that night. No parent has to go through that, seeing their child in that situation. But as I was driving away, I was hoping for a sign. I was driving. I see headlights flashing in my rearview mirror. I'm like, am I going too slow? Am I going too fast? So I pull over to one lane. The car catches up with me and honks the horn. I'm like, what's going on? And it's my dad next to me driving, telling me that I'm going to be okay. 10 years later, and he still has my back.
Woo! Yeah!
So fear is actually my greatest adversary. I hate it. most of the time when it manifests, it's like vines ripping through the ground and just keeping me from moving. And it just affects the way I look at myself. Because I can't see myself the way other people see me, my insecurities. It just enveloped me like this fog to where I can't even see myself, the good things that people see. Until you meet those friends that remind you that you're a good person. And one of those people is Brandon, a friend of mine who actually brought me out here. Just by talking to him, how prolific he is and how he helps me see myself for who I am and appreciate myself. He's the kind of person that, says, hey, you're worthy. And when I look at him, I see that light. So finally, just burning through that fog. And, as I get more confident in myself, that light gets closer and closer. I need that light to grow until it got to the point where I reached out my hand and it was solid. It wasn't his light. He was holding a mirror, reflecting my own light back to me to remind me that I'm okay. Thank you.
Woo! Yeah!
And after Robert is Mitch.
This is Robert Rubino, ladies and gentlemen.
Always a pleasure to be here. Lost and found and lost. Lost track of you and should have left it at that. Since last time we spoke some years ago, you sounded wacko. Flying alone to England and France, alone to sue wacko Scientology for, what was it? Oh yeah, for messing with you, your mind, your brainwaves, your dreams. Lost track of you and should have left it at that, since we can count on one hand our face-to-face and phone contacts combined. Nothing in common, and even less to say. Whether past or present or future, we're strangers yet estranged. Biology says we're close, we're blood. And usually sleepy curiosity finally woke and poked an elbow to my ribs, so I Googled you, find you there, and on YouTube too. You with your scrambled screeds and one-man show on surveillance video, you destroying statues outside a famous New York church. Find more of you on YouTube, you on tabloid TV news, you looking bored and angry and wise and clueless, like a primate trapped in a zany zoo of homelessness and hopelessness. You in court, saying you did it because, what was it? Oh yeah, because the Pope spends his nights and days cyber torturing you. Google and YouTube reveal you ordered held for psychiatric evaluation, but Google and YouTube's got no results, nothing more about you. And who knows now in middle age what's become of you? I Googled YouTubed you and wish like hell I hadn't. Wish like hell you never Google YouTube me. Thank you.
Woo! Robert Rubino. And now the mighty Mitch. Woo!
Welcome back.
I'm gonna read something. So I was at Sandarell's show a few months ago, and I got at the Aldi Cat Books or Adobe Books, and I got this book, The Best of Simple, from Langston Hughes.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was gonna read something from that.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Okay. Days is like stair steps, said Simple. If you stumbled on the first day yesterday, you're liable to still fall in tomorrow. I have stumbled. Anyhow, I said, it is better to fall up than fall down. You can get things straightened out when you get well. No matter what a man does, sick or well, something is always liable to happen, said Simple, especially if you are colored. Race has nothing to do with it, I said. In these uncertain world, something unpleasant can happen to anybody, colored or white, regardless of race. Uh-huh, said Simple. You can be robbed and mugged in the night, even choked. That's right, I said, or you can get poisoned from drinking King Kong after hours. Sure can, said Simple, or you can go crazy from worryation, or lose your job. Else your money on the horses, or on the numbers, or policy, or on Chinese lottery if you live on the coast, or poker or blackjack, or Pokino or Tonk. And you ain't mentioned Georgia Skin, said Simple. I can't play Skin, I said. It's a rugged card game, said Simple. You talk as though you've had a hard time, I said. Have any of those things ever happened to you? What are you talking about, cried Simple, sitting bolt upright in bed. Not only am I half dead right now from pneumonia, but everything else has happened to me. I have been cut, shot, stabbed, run over, hit by a car, and tromped by a horse. I have also been robbed, fooled, deceived, two-timed, double-crossed, dealt seconds, and mighty near blackmailed. But I am still here. You're a tough man, I said. I've been fired, laid off, and last week given an indefinite vacation, also Jim Crowed, segregated, barred out, insulted, eliminated, called black, yellow, and red, locked in, locked out, locked up, also left holding the bag. I have been caught in the rain, caught in the raids, caught short with my rent, and caught with another man's wife. In my time, I have been caught, but I am still here. You have suffered, I said. Suffered, cried Simple. My mama should have named me Job instead of just Simple. I have been underfed, underpaid, undernourished, and everything but undertaken. I have been bit by dogs, cats, mice, rats, pole parrots, fleas, chiggers, bedbugs, granddaddies, mosquitoes, and a gold-toothed woman. Great day in the morning. That ain't all, said Simple. In this life, I have been abused, confused, misused, accused, false arrested, tried, sentenced, paroled, blackjacked, beat, third-degreed, and near about lynched. Anyhow, your health has been good up till now, I said. Good health, nothing, objected Simple, waving his hands, kicking off the cover, and swinging his feet out of bed. I done had everything from flat feet to a flat head. Why, man, I was born with the measles. Since then, I had smallpox, chickenpox, whooping cough, croup, appendicitis, athlete's foot, tonsillitis, arthritis, a backache, mumps, and a strain. But I am still here, Daddy-O. I'm still here. Having survived all that, what are you afraid of now that you're almost over pneumonia? I'm afraid, said Simple, I will die before my time.
This is a request. I'm in love with someone, but she doesn't know it, and she never will. We are so different, barely the same species. I know it even if she doesn't. And when we speak, when we even just say hello, to her it is simply a greeting passed from one human to another, while to me it is a sign of the unbridgeable gulf between us. And I can only hope that the sadness which this brings to me, which clings to me like early morning fog on the hills, is not apparent, or if it is apparent, that it is mistaken for something else, like death. I can only speak in complete sentences that mask the feelings that I have for her, and watch as she interacts with others of her own species with an ease that I can only study detachedly and perhaps try to mimic. Although I'm probably better off just retreating into the shadows, hoping that I don't creep out people who see me lurking and wonder, who's that creepy guy lurking in the shadows? Is he even the same species as the rest of us? Should we offer him something? What do you suppose he eats? He looks friendly enough, if a little weird and creepy. Let's approach with caution. Oh wait, there's someone else that I'd much rather talk to. And so I crouch here in my little shadow lair, right there next to her, And at the same time, a million billion light years away in a galaxy all my own, at the controls of a command center in an observation tower whose sole purpose is to watch and learn about the people of this strange planet where ex-girlfriends chant, "You're such a guy!" And I don't think they mean it as a compliment. Thank you. Each day is like a machine in which sometimes, but not too often, the gears mesh smoothly, while other times they grind and smoke and screech. And there's one part of me that just stands there, masochistically waiting as the pieces fly off in all directions, on their way to taking out one of my eyes or splitting my nose in two, while another part of me fights back with casual aggression and formulaic edginess against the idea that I'm trapped in a mind fuck of my own making, in which patterns start forgetting things, the fine line between everything and nothing disappears completely, and I win a staring contest with a corpse. Luckily, technology saves my mind's ass, as my Mac, iPhone, and iPad all alert me to the fact that you're interested in going to an event near me tomorrow, in which birds and insects are going to try to teach people how to fly, but only after they've signed one hell of a waiver. And as I sit high up in imaginary bleachers, watching through binoculars as one idiotic sack of humanity after another hits the ground with a delightfully messy splat, it occurs to me that I'm not going to miss the annoyingly wholesome, or the notoriously mellow, or those who are sociopath adjacent, or people so boring that even schizophrenia wouldn't make them interesting. Something, by the way, I could never be accused of because, like me or loathe me, I'm freaking interesting. I'm a crosser of lines, a trafficker in petulance, a schadenfreude wholesaler, an accidental deconstructionist, and a sometimes hater of love. I'm a vegetarian who won't eat his vegetables. I'm the wearer of a tuxedo on Casual Friday. I'm polarized and proud of it. I'm like the wind, only shorter. Thank you. For the 2.7 people in this room who don't know it, I'm doing a show in March at the Marsh Theater, March 9th and 16th. If anyone's interested, I have flyers.
Which Marsh?
Here in San Francisco. And that's the Marsh Theater in March, not the March Theater in Marsh. Don't make that mistake. Thank you very much.
Dan Brady.
Well,
Dan
Guy's
Brady.
going to introduce me so I can understand who I am.
Wow, that's all it takes? Guy, I
It's
need
gonna
some
take,
help.
might take a while.
I think it's our honor tonight to actually have our leader here at Sacred Grounds feature.
Yeah.
And when I think about Dan, I think when we come here, Dan is like the chef who invites us into his kitchen and allows us to cook and serve our stories and our poems and our songs and our riffs. And tonight, we get to come to the kitchen and have this chef serve us his creative work. Dan's a practitioner of the craft. You know, we've heard his haiku, we've heard his love poems, we've heard his lyrically political work. So I'll let his poetry speak for itself, but one thing I wanted to mention or talk about before he comes up, and that is what he does outside of Sacred Grounds. And it's perfect because he's wearing the shirt tonight. You know, he dedicated his career to teaching second graders. And when you think about that, all the lives you shape, all the differences that you make, I think that's angels work on earth. So that's Dan Brady. Please welcome Dan Brady.
I'm going to sit like this so that way in case I get weak in the knees.
You won't notice. All right, so
I have my glasses. All right.
So to make a long story short, this represents my last 3 days. Yay, oops, yay, oops, yay, oops, yay, oops, yay, oops. And sometimes, never mind. And so I had a plan to make a plan, but I didn't really make a plan. So. But there's a theme. I'm going to start off with humor. And this is my ode to pee. Ahem. Bless this water that has passed through me. Bless this water on its way to the wine dark sea. May this water catch a moonbeam's glint just so to shimmer in the eyes of a beauty's ardent face aglow. Bless it and all the waters with which it flows and blends. Bless that and all the air in which its mingling vapor ascends. By this means, bless the 7 winds which carry it away over the 7 seas to mountains, farmlands, every hill and dale, and into coastal fogs where it precipitates from trees. Nor forget sunset where its gleaming prism catches the sovereign's blazing rainbow hues, or, in the moon's silvery light, plays it at the limb of our pellicle of atmosphere to cast an eerie halo of high, austere, icy delight. Bless this water that once was I, that once was a part of my heart, mind, and eye. Bless this water from the one cup we share. Bless the passing of excess to spare. Yes, blessings pour each drop from the sky to clothe the world in the greenery we espy. Forever a river flows through us within. Thus do I offer unto thee this singular ode to pee. So then these actually have to do with relationships, women, love, and things like that. And then it gets into some horrible stuff and ends on some good stuff. So,
Just like your week.
desire. Out on the veranda it is quiet. A cool breeze greets my face. The crying and talking are hidden away. This is a big house. Its white adobe walls cool now. The wind touches the trees. I look out over the houses. A guitar is somewhere splendidly. My lips say these words, dead. She is dead. Her white hair will dry and fall to dust. I want to go out, away to the mountains. The illusions of memory, the colors of festival, the daily work and dinners ending in talks disappear. I look out to remember the seabirds calling as the sky closes over the ocean. I taste the salt on my lips. I remove my mother's black gloves from my pocket, the crumpled lace blooms in my palm. I cup them to my face, their scent of Sundays. It takes me years and years to answer someone calling my name. We invented a love relationship here. So, and this is Puzzled Words of Love. I got this set of magnetic word things that you put on your thing, but these are Shakespearean words, and they fell on the floor, and as I was picking them up. Always forswear slander, wicked envy, vehemence, or to deceive. Nor let dire discontent torment and tempt you. Wherefore, when you doth thus sanctify your manner, saying farewell to poisonous melancholies, mortal strike at one's bosom, methinks myself we thus bestow love unto our very dreams, bringing to merry grace, light jest, and measured mercy. Friend, never therefore yield the fair breast, but vouchsafe it in full, lest death shall thy only lover be. Word of caution. And my wife, who could not be here tonight, this is her in a minor portrait, major portrait, minor major. Were it not for her eyes upon me, in that one intimate moment with mine upon hers, both of ours reflecting in and through one another's. Were it not for this one moment where we were, as we have always been, together, so perfect, still, on that one day, one morning, where in one small moment we found more than can be found in all the eternities which came before, as well as those that will certainly come after in that moment, were it not for her eyes upon me, in joy, in love, in the presence of all we hold dear, all indeed we hold of this world. Oh yes, for I might have wondered, were it not for her eyes, then and there, what would have become of me without all that? And this is a segue from that. Where is your heart? Right here, right now, this very moment. You know what I mean, not just the percussive muscular motions marking your moment-to-moment measures, but that singular, most intimate part which knows every little thing. Yes, the unending part, and how it takes you, and where it takes you to, and why you go along with its intimate, emotive feelings of, that's the ticket. Where is your heart when you dearly miss its peace, when you cannot take its pain any longer, and you beg it to please, please just stop the ache that comes as steadily on as each regrettable breath does, as each memory comes only to go, with each and every breath, as each hope or wish follows on. Yes, where is your heart tonight? What is it about? What are its intentions? How does it figure in your life? And what plans do you have for it? How do you hold it dear? How do you protect it? And what does it want of you? So, what is it always asking? Where is your heart tonight, ladies and gentlemen? Where would you have it be? What does it wish? And why? Why do you ever let it play second fiddle to anything else? Few simple questions. This transcends. This again is another. Never mind. I'll start.
Segue.
Uses. Thank you. Segue. I was trying to find that word.
Nice.
You say. You say you are searching, that you cannot find it. You say you are lost. Listen, grasshopper, love is not a battleground where the bleeding losers are left strewn about to beckon for death's welcoming rap, longing for a final gentle word or touch from God. And I do not serve the angels. They have just about everything they need by now. As for you, aching in mind, body, or soul, who have acquired the taste for love, the thirst that seemingly draws one out of one's mind, I'll tell you what, you can find it simply enough. Go, give nourishment to all tender beings. Feed every wide mouth. Quench all thirst for love, and love as you would be loved, right where you are. Let your happiness wander no more, and so be requited. Let your beautiful lips and supple, passionate flesh open sweetly to all the love you can imagine. Yield to its want, and disseminate all those vital gifts you have upon this magnificent world of ours. All right. So that leads us into like the political reality realm of things, and this is the first of that. beware, this is a brutal poem. And you wonder, where do these come from? I only take the notes, I don't make the books. Anyway, here we go. Why are they killed? It's a simple question, really. And today, at this moment, I direct it to the Saudi government. But, as you'll soon surmise, there's a lot of others holding on to the short end of this shit stick. I asked the men there, why is it okay to kill their own mothers, sisters, daughters, or lovers for phoning, texting, driving, enjoying the sun on their faces, talking with a friend, for dreaming of a life made up of their preferences, their choices? What does having a sense of humor, laughing beautifully, or wanting the simple things in life, liberty and the pursuit of happiness, have to do with brutal assaults and murderous battery, rape, slavery, or an acid slap face? What is it about family honor? Why, when we hear of their moaning or mournful imprecations, do we not call their men out? How is it we recuse ourselves and do not ride to their rescue? Is it because of the hijab? Where are the white hats? Yes, all they want are simple things: freedom of the mind, justice for the soul, and unlimited peace in their feeling, emotional hearts. When will we reach out our hands? When will we answer our own big heart's unending call for love? Inquiring minds want to know. In supplication, I proffer these considerations, these notes to everyone I know. Amen. So this one follows on that, and if you were at the word party last night, I read this here. Yeah, I think this is that one. Forgive me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, it'll be a surprise. So this follows that. Whose gentle hands reach out to receive the bodies that are brought in? Whose gentle hands bear the simple folded cloth of white? Whose gentle hands then wash the remains softly, sweetly, one last time, a blessing of ablution? And who, in silent reminiscence, feel a tear trickle now and then because of someone's hair or eyes being familiar, whose gentle hands then wrap the bodies, whose lips murmur? And who in concert bear up a corpse to lay it out gently for view, its face set in profound sleep? Women are veterans all. They've been in all the wars, all the time, battlefield or no, win, lose, or draw. Upon them are visited those nightmare haunts and aching griefs which settle in and become memories, memoirs, mementos, tokens, whose silent display tell all that can be told without speech. What do the women mean to do for the dying and the dead? What do they all pray for? How do they carry it all as life goes on and living becomes something else? Anything else besides what it was once upon a time? How do their eyes, searching, see this world after dressing wounds so deep, so red? How do their hands feel that which can no longer give feelings in return? Whose gentle hands, whose sighing wish may well be as nothing is, just as the care they take is when tending their own torn sorrows, or in sufferance how such has at them, no matter how long or far time or their simple journeys may ever take them.
Simple question.
This is on time, just so you know. Time comes and goes. almost unnoticed, unremarkable, except for the changes we seem to think go along with it. What a strange concept, which is to say untrue. So much so that we'd have to invent the concurrence for our own sakes, not to mention that of others. Now, magicians use this feat all the time, and we, the duped, ever and always find no end of fascination with what they have us see. Truth be damned.
Yeah, it's working.
All right, so so these two should be the closing things. If they're not, I'll stuff a haiku in there. So this poem is several billion years in the making. I like to say that. So here we go. Long after time, what is? Long, long from now, when all that is now is forgotten, more than simply buried in the mind or the earth, more than simply covered up but gone, truly dissolved with the immense passages of time during which the earth has completely reformed its surface and is done turning under its continents, when every human thing has vanished beyond all hope of ever being found, when no living thing recalls our peculiar smell or fear, and life has recovered all it has lost. When all that is now is absolutely gone beyond anyone's knowledge of what once was, is, or might yet be. Long after time, when there's no forgiving or forgetting, when the quiet world simply rests through its long horizons, and the moon casts down innocent light, where winds are gentle, and the forests have come back unto their own. Long after all we dream of, when even the greatest of our myriad possessions have been broken down into the smallest of grains, and so have become part and parcel to the earth, and each is simply moved by the wind or the water, and all has been absorbed and recycled millions of times through plants and animals, the living carpet that life is upon this world, when there's no evidence of any kind, when matter is so purified until purity is no longer a relative term, and all is well. Long after time has gone, when time is no longer a measure, when measure is no longer needful, when counting is as forgotten as numbers, and sense is a term only applied to the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, or touch. Long after time, what is? What will be? When peace itself is the only thing, and nature is let to do what it does best after the recycling of all we once were has erased all the details and leveled the playing field once and for all. Long after time, what is the chance that the earth will decide to try once more? To weave spirit into matter, manifesting such illumination as brings consciousness into life, and if not in human form, then certainly with a prayer that this time its promise will be kept.
Yeah.
Me, just say. All right, so all of that brings us to this. It's a poem on light, titled Light, Light, Light. Okay. And I'm closing with this. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate this. From the start of this universe until now, there has always been the light. Clearly, it is an essential factor, for what else do we all come to eventually enter right? But the light, light, light. No thing overshadows this. It's what causes this poor body, causes my fingers and to trace such moments as this, counsels the passion coursing my heart well, and what so enlivens my giddy soul tonight, but the light, light, light. Terms cannot describe or contain this. Actions provide mere indications. Lyrics might bear it so long as the breath bears them. Nothing temporal can truly be seen without it, and all things eternal are made up only of it. What else moves us within so as to create without? Passing for inspiration's sight, but the light, light, light. And so, in the deep, cold world of winter, when sullen, lifeless, and leaden heavens occlude the hope of celestial bodies, when the landscape beneath is set in a monochromatic display, yes, fish may still seize the day beneath their ice. Yes, furtive, burrowing survivors do abide, and the heart of an owl harbors its heated blood as it wings down silently after sighting its prey. Dark talons clutch the unwary or luckless. Where blood spatters on moonlit white, what else rules there but the light, light, light? What muffles the tolling bell better than distance and time? What rings it ever clearly to echo in the mind? What is the message it means to send all these years later? What do I do by telling you this? Why do such words as these make their way here? What causes my spirit to soar and my heart and mind to quicken? What makes a singular difference, no matter how seemingly slight, but the light, light, light? Now, when death is no longer that distant, dismissed threat, but present, promised, and immediately certain, your intimate companion, if you will, waiting on you, so to speak, hand and foot. Ha! What will move still until that very last? What makes its essential difference felt? What else is there to keep in sight but the light, light, light? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope it didn't frighten the children. So we're going to take a quick break like we like to do, 5-ish, 7-ish minutes, something like that, and we shall return in due course. Schmooze or lose? Talk or balk? I'll stop this now.
Yeah, beautiful. I wanted to peek more. Yes. I need to frame that for That's just genius.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta take my.
Is it handwritten on the paper?
No, but I can.
Handwritten. I want to take a picture of it.
Yeah, it's typed in it.
It's typed.
Yeah, then if you make it graphic, you have to.
Yeah, I'll just take a picture.
Or you can send me an email. I'll send you.
Okay, I'll do that.
I'll send it in an email. Good work.
That'd be great. I would love that.
All right. Hey, good. I told him you're next week. I told him you're next week. And they said,
sorry, I
"Ooh."
missed you last week. I heard it was
Thank you, sir.
You are a poet. Good job. Good job.
Impeach everyone.
Impeach everyone.
Oh, here's my lowest score.
Congratulations. Take me off. Oh, just take it off. I came to hear you.
Oh, okay. I thought about that. I didn't want to be.
Yeah.
Here's election 2020.
Yes.
Battling billionaires. Who cares?
Who cares? I like that.
Who cares? Battling millionaires. Who cares?
I have to say, a part of me wanted to get up before you did your thing and mention the moment at the bus stop that we had together at the beach, waiting for the bus that would come so that we could write haikus.
Yes.
Very poetic.
Very good. And perfect, actually.
Perfect. And this guy.
That guy. Oh, we got to turn this thing on. So hit the red square.